Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming to the StartOut Accelerators 101 event. We have an amazing group of founders and accelerator representatives joining us tonight to share with all of you about their experiences with accelerators, getting into accelerators, participating in accelerators, and post-accelerator. My name's Nick Louie. I'm a volunteer with StartOut, and I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Peak Metrics, which is a company that went through two accelerators. One was Harmony Labs and then Techstars last year. So would love to start by introducing you all to first our founder panelists for the evening, and then our accelerator representatives. If you've got questions along the way, feel free to drop them in the chat. The way that this event will work is that we'll do a short panel with our founders sharing their experiences going through accelerators. And then after that, we'll divide into breakout rooms. So there will be 2 breakout rooms. You'll be sent into one breakout room with a few of the accelerator representatives, and then we'll reconvene in this room and you'll move into another breakout room. So if you're an attendee, you'll have the opportunity to meet with all of the accelerator reps tonight and have a quick conversation or ask any questions you might have. So let's get started. First panelist for the evening is Eugene Nadyrshin, the co-founder and CEO of CadItApp. Eugene, do you want to give us a quick hello and share a little bit about what you're up to?
I would love to. Hey, everyone. You said I'm the co-founder of CadItApp, and we use AI to design products, although we are currently figuring out all the situation with the supply chain problems coming from around the world. We're actually looking at virtual products, so I can go more about it later. I've been through quite a few accelerators. I've just been plugging in the gaps, so I've been through everything from ARM accelerator in China to hardware accelerator in London, UK, to Growth Lab, and then Y Combinator in the San Francisco area, which is where I'm based now.
So thanks, Eugene. Next up, we have Jessica Bussert, the founder of Wave Therapeutics.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here tonight. So Wave Therapeutics, we've designed a disruptive smart cushioning device to prevent bed sores, save lives, and substantially reduce healthcare costs for patients and facilities alike. I've been through 3 different accelerators, a university-based one from Purdue University, Generator's G Beta program, and we're a current participant in Matter Healthcare. We're also an applicant for Techstars longevity cohort out of DC. And so I'm happy to be here and answer any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. We have also Ashleigh Wilson, the founder and CEO of AuditMate.
Hi, I'm Ashleigh Wilson, founder and CEO of AuditMate. We're the first ever elevator and escalator auditing software and management company. And I went through the Growth Lab in San Francisco.
Awesome. So those are our founders. Moving on to our accelerators for the evening, we have Jenna Karoth, who is the VP of Startup Partnerships and head of Comcast NBCU Sports Tech.
Thank you, Nick, and it's a pleasure to be here and to see everyone. So at Comcast, we actually have a portfolio of innovation programs. So I have the privilege of leading sports tech. It's all about investing in and developing the next great sports technologies. We do that with NBC Sports and Sky Sports and Spectacor and Golf Channel, which are properties that we own, but then we've also brought in external sports partners in NASCAR. We have 3 Olympic NGBs, USA Cycling, USA Swimming, and USA Ski and Snowboard. And then we also have Lift Labs, which is, we actually just started our last class about a week and a half ago. And we've invested in about 40 companies there. And it's really about finding startups that are innovating in media, entertainment, and connectivity. So it keeps our culture innovative and entrepreneurial in spirit, like our founder, Ralph Roberts.
Awesome. Let's see, we've also got Max Kahn, the head of growth at SAP.io.
Thanks so much, Nick. And I work at SAP.io, which is the startup accelerator arm for SAP, which is one of the world's largest enterprise software companies. And what we do is we bring together startups and customers to create mutually beneficial partnerships that help drive their innovation culture forward. And I currently oversee scouting, partnerships, and go-to-market activities. And I've been with the team since we launched, and we're now 330 startups strong in our portfolio and running accelerators in 10 cities around the world.
Amazing. Awesome. Let's see, Jessica Kang, who is the global startup pipeline lead at Techstars.
Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here. I am the Global Startup Pipeline Lead. I help to find the best startups globally to enter into all of our accelerator programs. We host about 45 plus globally. So happy to answer any questions in our breakout session and looking forward to meeting each one of you. Thanks.
Awesome, thanks. Let's see, next is Stephen Rodriguez, who's the director of Latinx programs for 1863 Ventures.
Hey, Steve Rodriguez here. 1863 is a business development program creating $100 billion in new wealth for the new majority by 2030. We have some great programs, all subsidized by dope partners to help our businesses grow and scale. So later I'll share more about the 3 R's initiative, $5,000 grant program to help you rebuild your business post-COVID. And on the side, I'm also part of a Founders Boost, a pre-accelerator program in case you all are figuring out how to get to an accelerator. Great program to also check out, and my email is in the chat.
Awesome. Cool. We've got Yuri Kasunovich, who's the head of marketing for MetaProp.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Yuri Kasunovich, head of marketing and creative, like Nick said, for MetaProp. We are the world's largest venture capital fund investing in early stage real estate technology, very niche, also known as PropTech. We have an accelerator going on its 10th cohort this time around. Very interested on solutions for housing affordability and sustainability, which are two of the biggest issues that the real estate world is dealing with currently and will continue to deal in the near future. So yeah, excited to be here and happy to learn about what everyone's doing.
Awesome. Let's see, and then Susan Leo, right? Founder for Startups for All. Liao.
Yes. Liao, like
Sorry
now.
about that.
No, it's all right. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and I'm really excited to meet everyone. I'm Susan, founder of Startups for All. We are a purpose-driven online incubator for self-funded founders from underrepresented populations. And what that means is we're on a mission to see more representation, like everyone here. Women, non-binary folks, women of color, queer, trans, folks of color, and to see more representation of these populations as startup CEOs. And we are early in our development as well. We had 2 pilot cohorts earlier this year. And I'm excited to announce the launch of our 3rd pilot, which is open to all, which kicks off a 100-day program in October. Yeah, happy to meet everyone, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have during the breakout sessions.
Awesome. And last but most certainly not least, Chris Davidson, executive in residence for StartOut Growth Lab.
Hey everybody, super excited to be here. This is kind of the culmination of StartOut's amazing work in the community, and so happy to have other incubators and accelerator folks on this call. So briefly, Stardust Growth Lab is a 6-month accelerator program. We have 3 illustrious alumni in Eugene, Ashleigh, and Kelly, although I don't see Kelly at the moment. It's a 6-month accelerator program for LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs. We really try and cater the curriculum to exactly where you are. So we kind of will have anywhere from somewhat to pre-seed all the way through, Series A. And we are here to really help the community and drive change. So I will be in one of the breakout rooms, really excited to answer any questions. We are on our 8th cohort at the moment. We were taking applications for our 9th coming in October. So that's it. Nick, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And before I forget, I forgot to briefly talk about StartOut, just in case you don't exactly know how you wound up here. Just a quick second on what StartOut is and our mission. StartOut's mission is to increase the number, diversity, and impact of LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs and amplify their stories to drive the economic empowerment of the community. Over the past 11 years, StartOut has built a community of currently 17,500 members, and they individually support over 300 entrepreneurs every year. The programs are open to all LGBTQ founders, plus founders who could use the supportive community to accelerate their growth. In terms of programs, StartOut provides direct individual support through community events, one-on-one mentorship, office hours with experts, and connections to a community of investors. StartOut, as Chris mentioned, also runs our 6-month accelerator program called the StartOut Growth Lab. Since the start of the accelerator, the 35 graduated companies have raised $250 million in funding and created over 1,300 new jobs. Website is startout.org if you want to learn more. Awesome. So next we're gonna have a quick conversation with our founders so we can hear sort of the founder perspective on accelerators. So we'll temporarily say goodbye to our accelerator folks. Let's see. I'm just gonna remove you guys from Spotlight. Let's see. Did I accidentally, we over removed. Ashleigh, while I'm adding a few more people into this founder panel, do you mind sharing a little bit about the accelerators that you went through and a little bit about the decision-making process for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a non-technical founder. I was raised in the elevator and escalator industry. And so I didn't know much about technology programs, accelerators, fundraising, right? All of that was super new to me. Also being a queer founder, a woman, our access to capital is different. The playing field is different. And so for me, I needed to find community. Was extremely important to me. And then also just resources, knowing where to go, who to ask. And so Growth Lab was absolutely a no-brainer to me in that regard. I'm still heavily involved in StartOut. It's an organization that I believe in through and through. And, what was so important, I was in with Eugene, in the cohort that the whole lights turned off when COVID hit. So we got to be together in the office for I think 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, something. And then we all went home. So without Growth Lab, I don't know where my mental health or my company would have been. It was so important. And one of our good friends from the group says, I went in a founder and I came out a CEO, and I couldn't agree with that situation more.
Awesome. Eugene, from your perspective, you've gone through Growth Lab, and then I can't remember if it was YC, then Growth Lab, or vice versa, but can you maybe...
Well, actually, I've been through Growth Lab twice.
Okay.
Previous company, and I went through second cohort at the same time I went through YC. I think YC doesn't usually allow that. I think because Growth Lab, there wasn't really much overlap, so it was they actually allowed it when we used to go through both. And yeah, they were different. YC is, a lot of people know Y Combinator. It basically it's I think Michael said it best. Michael, the CEO of YC, was I put a gun to your head, and for 10 weeks, you have to show progress within the 10 weeks, which pretty much what it felt like. But it was like a pressure cooker, where I would say it was stressful, but it was also rewarding because it was very productive. Everybody had shown some progress. Even my company doing virtual hardware and virtual reality, which is doing two hard things. We managed to get. I originally came from UK, and in we spent about 2 years working the product and prototypes there, and we came here. We got more done like business-wise in 2 weeks here than in 2 years in UK. And that was super useful from the like pushing the marketing perspective, but like a lot of down to earth, like, okay, how do I set up, health insurance here in the US, like all those things which I've never been exposed to before as a British founder. StartOut Growth Lab was much better at like bringing like TriNet in, and we had a talk, and where they talked like, hey, these are the options you have, and this was much more like actionable for me, like day-to-day stuff, whereas the big like, okay, how you build $100 billion company, so yeah, I've learned a lot of that from like people who've done that. So it's both have like advantages. And I also, the other accelerators I've done, like I filled in the skill gaps, and doing a hardware product is really difficult, especially times like now with this massive supply shortages. And just being through the accelerators that filled in those knowledge gaps, both for manufacturing and development, that's what I'd had my two other accelerators that we've been through. And I honestly, like, if I needed to do it again, I think I would do it again. And I think I did not lose out on getting as much knowledge as possible over those 4 accelerators that I've been with.
Yeah, and that's a good transition. Jessica, you've been through, I think, 3 accelerators. Would love to learn more about, what was your thought process for, for sort of multiple accelerators? What was the reason for sort of the ones that you picked?
So the big factor for the ones I picked were they didn't require any equity. That's about to change here now, because I'm swinging for the big leagues, and I'm currently trying to get into a Techstars longevity cohort in Washington, DC. So fingers crossed that we succeed with that. The first one that I participated in was a university-based program out of Purdue University. And, that was very helpful, and actually led us to 2 early pivots that have kind of defined the trajectory of my company since. One of the others, I participated in Generator's G Beta program, which is kind of like the Cedar round for Generator. And we are a current participant in Chicago's Matter Healthcare. Matter is lovely because it brings together these great industry mentors, all associated with healthcare. And they've been a great resource to answer questions when I don't know the answer. And quite frankly, if you meet any CEO or founder that says they know all the answers, run as fast as you can the other direction, right? None of us have all the answers. And it's important that we know how to develop that pool of mentors, advisors, subject matter experts that can help us when decision making gets a little mucky. And that's kind of why I'm participating, and I'm really excited about where I hope to be accepted here shortly. Fingers crossed.
I think that's a really good point. Techstars, when we went through it, they go through this whole thing called mentor madness, where you're just meeting person after, mentor after mentor after mentor. And, 90% of them, maybe you don't talk to again, but those 10% that you keep in contact with, they just become gold. So yeah, that's a great point. Maybe we can rewind the clock a bit, for Ashleigh, even before applying to an accelerator, what was your thought process for preparing the application? Like, how did you get yourself accelerator ready, do you think?
I didn't know a lot before I applied. I think I had way more questions than answers, to be completely honest. And it was one of those leaps of faith that you don't know what you don't know. And where I was, I didn't grow up in California. I didn't know, even what Accelerator Ready meant. I think that I would prepare much differently now than I would have then. Which I guess takes a little bit of stress off, or it's just a different sort of stress. I remember my interview with Chris, which was terrifying, and he's now one of my closest friends and mentors. But I remember he was just like firing questions at me, and I was so scared. And I mean, I think looking back now, it's more about like knowing your business than it is having a right answer, right? Like, what's the right answer to you? And now looking back is like, not that it's all made up, but it's all educated guesses when you're that early, right? When you're pre-seed, it's more about proving the logic out and having a path of understanding. And that's, I think, was my big Accelerator Ready, is like, how did you get to that answer? Not, is it correct or not?
I think that's a really good point. Eugene, Jessica, I'm curious from your perspective, thoughts on sort of getting Accelerator Ready or the interview process or interview prep process, that whole world.
Jessica, you want to hit it off?
Sure. So the first program I did was, like I said, a university-based program. And like Ashleigh, I didn't prep for it because I didn't know that I should prep for it. So it was kind of like diving into the deep water and hoping I figured out how to swim. And I figured out how to swim. That was kind of nice. But it also taught me that there were bigger and better opportunities out there for me to learn from. And so I next selected Matter Healthcare because it had all those wonderful subject matter experts that I could really draw from. And then finally, we participated in Generator's G-Beta because Generator isn't YC or Techstars, but it's not too far from it. And their G-Beta program was a free program. And I figured it would give me a taste to see if I really wanted to go that direction. And yes, I absolutely do want to go that direction. And I decided I'm not going to mess with the little guys any longer. I tell you what, every day I get new emails asking me, do I want to join Joe's Accelerator? And they only want to take 15% of my business, and they give so much. Whatever. So now I'm focusing on the big guys with the proven record. And I feel like the earlier experiences I had set me up for success for Techstars. Now, whether or not that's true, we'll find out in a few weeks.
From my end, so before YC, we went through the Center Research Laboratory back in 2015. That's the hardware accelerator back in London. And the way we prepped for it, we actually just were working on the product, and it was a virtual reality actuator glove back in the day. It was just really mechanically complex, and we had no idea. Like, in hindsight, there was no way, like, that was not mass manufacturable. But we didn't know back then. And this new accelerator was starting, and they were looking for a pilot program, like for participants, and be like, hey, we'll need all this equipment that they're going to be getting, so let's sign up. It was experimental, but that was very fortunate. Then Y Combinator, I think we applied 3 times. We got 2 rejections before an interview for the first 2, and then the third one we got through. And what they did was they saw like how we grew from when we had like something really basic to now we had something slicker and something that actually could sell to people, to companies. And the prep work for that was I actually recommended the batch before mine. I recommended my friend applies day before, solo founder, non-technical, and he gets into YC. And so I basically asked him, hey, can you give me like a mock interview of what you went through? And that was like a lot of prep, and I anybody knows about the YC process, it's a 10-minute interview, and they make a decision whether you want to invest at the end of the day. Like you get either an email if it's a no, or you get a call if it's a yes. The Growth Lab was, I think, because like Growth Lab is now, we got to YC at that point, and I think Growth Lab was easier for us, so we cheated because we got into YC and like, hey, like I literally, YC doesn't give you office space, or like it's quite a big group, but I wanted something more intimate where and it was great. It was, I've had the network of founders who I can talk to about the problems I'm having, both with my like employees and stuff. So it was a really good environment for me once I got in, but I cheated with the StartOut Growth Lab.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about like founder accelerator fit too, right? Like, finding the right accelerator for you, which is part of the purpose of this event. You'll get a whole swath of, accelerators to talk to, and growth stage, and even just the partner that's reading, that application. Like all of those are such variables in this process. We have to move to sort of breakout room soon, but maybe we can do a quick lightning round of, a piece of advice for anyone on the call, and then and also post accelerator life. Like, what were some of your biggest takeaways from the various accelerators that you participated in? Jessica, you want to start?
Yeah, so lightning round, gosh.
Sorry, I put more pressure that was necessary.
No, that's cool. So for anyone considering even the freebie accelerators that are out there, and there are a number out there, remember that your time is also a valuable asset, right? And then when it comes to sharing equity, you're literally selling a part of your company to participate in that thing. So don't be dazzled by their flashy sales. Make sure you talk to people that have gone through the programs, hear their results, make sure that you're going to be a good fit, because you don't want to sell your company to just anybody that comes along with a good story. Track record is a good sign of success.
Yeah, trying to remember what the question was. It was about the key takeaways. I think for players like YC, you need to really like look at one, if it's worth it for you. Are you ready to be like put in a slingshot for a 10-week period? Honestly, we weren't quite ready because hardware. No, it would have been better if we got the prototype ready, like ready to pump out in the factory, and then go to YC. Okay, this is how we're gonna push it, like and get crazy amount of sales from it. That would be the perfect time for us. So different accelerators have different periods where they can help you out in a growth stage of your company. The other thing, I'm just thinking about, look at what is it like. Look at the value accelerator provides. As Jessica mentioned, the ones that don't take equity, and a lot of this is your time, but also like YC. If you think about the YC, like the actual financial, it was like 125 for 7%. It's actually like you can raise much better than that. Most people can raise much better than that going directly to VCs, but it's the amount of time it's going to take you. That's where the value of, let's say, somebody like YC comes in, is like the fundraising period is condensed like within sometimes a few days from months, and that's your time. Like that's time you should be building the product. And it's something very to consider, because you probably have a few founders, and you should be like laser focused on getting your product out. And on the that's just being able to assess how much an accelerator is actually bringing back, and not just the simple monetary pre-money or post-money valuation.
Eugene joked about the cheating, but I think my advice is like leverage any and all resources, like anything that you need to do to like meet someone, get an interview, speak to someone personally beforehand. Like if it's something that or really want to help your business, like I was able to fundraise because I cold DM'd a VP of a major tech company and she drew me up some architecture and joined an investor meeting with me. Like I never would have got funded otherwise. Like leverage whatever you need to get into whatever room you need to get into. And then my post feels or post life, I think I miss my friends, you know, like it's nice to have some consistency, and have groups to, you know, like our Zoom calls were just as much like emotional support for each other as it was business support, right? Like being in the room with other CEOs that are going through similar things or are further than you, is, you know, cherish those relationships.
Love that. Awesome. Well, let's give a super quick virtual round of applause to these panelists. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. We're going to move into breakout rooms. So you will be put into, hope that was fruitful for everyone on this call, and hope you all made some great connections. We will send a follow-up email with ways to get in contact with all of the awesome founders and accelerators that were on this call. So thank you again so much for coming to the event, and hope we'll see you at another StartOut event soon. Thanks, everyone.